Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind Podcast, a podcasting community by estate professionals for estate professionals, where we share the ideas and the access to people that help you work less, earn more, and do good in your community. If you get value in this free content, be sure to check out estateprofessionalsmastermind.com, where you can get live classes, access to weekly coaching, and free courses. To learn more, you can visit estateprofessionalsmastermind.com. Let's jump into this week's episode.
Welcome to our Tuesday, noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, Probate Mastery broker coaching. We get together every week, and our goal here is to help improve agents and real estate brokers in probate real estate. Now, we also have investors. I also am an investor, but the purpose of this call is to really focus in on the skills, best practices, and encourage each other to work through the challenges of building our business as real estate salespeople, either agents or brokers, however you run that format. I'm Bill Gross. I'm based in Los Angeles, California. I have a business where I list property, primarily referrals from attorneys and vendors, other real estate agents and investors. And I'm building a national team. I have 42 agents on my team as of today around the country. I'm looking to build a national network. I host this program every Tuesday on behalf of Chad Corbett. I did this as a student myself, and then when he wasn't able to continue, I filled in and I've taken over. But I really look at this as being a colleague of yours, the Probate Mastery program. I took Chad's coaching about 4 years ago, relaunching my business at 6 years old. And as a result, I built a great business, building equity in it, residual income, as well as success as a salesperson. So I really recommend the Probate Mastery program and Chad's coaching. Step one's free. It's a free lifestyle and career design course. And here's the details. You can register for it right here. If you want to move forward with the paid program, step two is the Probate Mastery certification program. And that's on demand. And you can click there. And then step three, I think once you've done that, you might consider the Earn course, which is Earn Attorney Referrals Now, how to work with attorneys. I'm actually a contributor on that program. And feel free to click on there, and love to have you guys participate. And then as a result, this call is a alumni coffee with people who've taken the program, as well as people who are paying to be on this coaching program on a weekly basis. All of you are welcome to join the public-facing Estate Professionals Mastermind Facebook group. We have over 6,700 members nationally. You should be able to post material there and respond to it. Here's an example of Charles Clark. I don't know if Charles is on our call today, but it's one thing to talk about sending out your mailers. Here's his mailers, right? Ready to go out. So it's exciting. We want to encourage each other and push each other. Now, separately, I host my own program every Thursday, Probate Weekly. That's Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. You can sign up at probateweekly.com. And that's more of an interview format. I tend to interview industry professionals, attorneys, practitioners, vendors, to help us learn how to work better and be more productive in business. So if you sign up there, you can come into the call live on Zoom, or we live stream that as well on Facebook and YouTube. And then I separately have my own Facebook group, Probate Weekly. We have 2,800 members nationally. And there people post, I post my content there. You're welcome to post any probate-related content. Now, anything not related, like listings, open houses, will remove. But anything related to probate or probate-related. So here's somebody looking for an attorney just today, and a bunch of people responding to that already. Here's a friend of mine who does a podcast on estate planning, again, related to probate. Love to have your content on the show. My own content. Here's another request for looking for an attorney for litigation. So again, these are different resources you have for free. Once you get to the program, there's all kinds of things you can do. But even in the meantime, you can take my podcast for free, live streaming. You also can go on our Facebook for free. There's meant to be a participant. We do it on on Zoom, so that you can come on, so that you can ask questions by either raising your hand in the app or putting it in the chat box. Love to have anybody but Larry contribute today. So feel free, if you're not Larry, if you have something you want to say, either successes or challenges you're facing, or you want to share best practices, we'd love to have you, unless you're Larry, love to have you participate and share with everybody those successes and those victories. So anybody on the call here live have a question, put in the chat box. And of course, this week it's a different person. This is the Larry Smith group. Last week we had Larry Smith group. I imagine you might have been part of the Larry Smith group, but today we have the Larry Smith group. So that's a different entity than last week. Anyhow, who's got a question, challenge, victory? I can go on. I can talk all the hour. I do all the time. Not hard for me, but it's meant for you to participate. And I'll just give you a hint. The more you talk and participate, the more you make, the more you contribute, the more you get. That's just how life works. I didn't make that rule. That's how the world was created. So we'd love to have you guys participate if you're interested. Anybody? Any hands up? I don't see anybody waving. I see people turning off their cameras because they're scared. Don't be scared. I don't bite. Unless you're Larry, I'm really nice to you guys. Okay, I guess if nobody else has anything else to say, we can bring into the call. He's got to unmute himself, though. The Larry Smith group. Hey, Larry Smith, are you by chance related? I have a good friend in Texas named Larry Smith. You by chance related to him?
Yeah, he's one hell of a guy.
My guy's not so good, but anyhow,
Yeah.
how can I?
Hey, I was curious, how many, just as I'm always curious of the makeup of the group. As a survey, Bill, how many of y'all on here have been in probate for a year or longer?
Okay,
I see one.
So,
Yes.
so if you're
Why don't we vote?
Yeah, put in the chat box if you've been. How many years you've been in the probate specific business? I've been in real estate for a long time, 36 years. I only started full time in probate 4 years and 3 months ago, really March of 2019. So how many years have you been in probate? I see 1 year, less than a month. Carrie, welcome for joining in.
Really good.
Fresh meat. Let's see here. We're going through real fast here. 3 months. John Herman, welcome. Peter, 5 years. Welcome. Great question, Larry. Lynette, 5-6 years. She's a pro, probably the longest in the tooth. Nordis, a year. Great. So here's a question for those who've been in the business in probate specifically focused. We put work into generating the business. That's the key part, because many times we take a class and don't do anything with it. In fact, in my experience, 95% of people who I talk to say, I took a class on probate and I'm certified. I took a class like 5 years ago, but I don't do anything to generate business in it. So my question for those of you who are both involved in probate and have made significant business lead generation activities, marketing or otherwise, how long did you get your first deal? We're still 10 years ago, but not focused for the past year. Brenda, that's a lot of us. So Nordis says 3 months. Good for you, Nordis. You must want to share, how long was it for your first deal for those of you who are probate focused? And then Nordis, I don't know if you want to come on and talk or can put in the chat box. What did you do to generate that first deal in 3 months? Peter says about a year.
It was a very, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, thank you for asking me to share. It was a very organic nurturing that I did with one specific attorney that I just continued following up with until she referred. And then when I saw that worked, I just started developing relationships with other attorneys.
Does that seem like a long time to you, medium amount of time, or short period of time?
Because of the potential for the amount of more business that I was going to get, it seemed like a very short time.
3 months. So 95% of agents will quit before 3 months. You know that, right?
I didn't know.
Here's a statistic also, just in general real estate, from the date that they start looking either to buy or sell, coincidentally about the same, what do you think the average time is for somebody to close escrow? Either a buyer or seller from day one, their first online search, what are houses worth or what can I buy? What do you think the average time is, average, for a buyer or seller?
18 months.
Dave Pennell says 18 months.
Let's get it. Let's see, 6 months, 18 months. Who else?
So the only scientific data I've ever seen on it was a great report. I've seen it a couple times now by Boomtown, which is a CRM I don't use. I used to with an old company, but they put out a report every year. And the reason they do that is you open your CRM, you put names and numbers in, you start your marketing, you can kind of see the time period from creation date of the lead till the close of escrow date. And the average is over 2 years. The average. And so what I want to say to you is if you're not setting up a system to hang out, to be there at least for that average length, then you're not being realistic in your business. Not to say you shouldn't get a deal for 2 years. Average means some are like Nordis got 3 months, some are 4 years, and the average is 2 years. Does that make sense? So definitely depends on the deal. Had one over a year and one that was 3 weeks. Bill Janiga says, yeah, there's going to be a variance. I'm just talking about the average, and we should write a business plan for the average. And then Lidette says she submitted letters. I would say my first deal was within 6 months, but not currently focused on probate after relocating. Okay. So again, I think we want to make sure that we have our plan in place to be effective to the market. If the average is 2 years, we should have a system in place to at least hang in there for the average. And so my point is you can't mail out customized cards, I don't think, every month on average for 2 years. That doesn't seem realistic to everybody in a database. Maybe those that you talk to, maybe those you have a certain connection with, or a certain threshold of connection with. But I've got people, I'm a petitioner on an estate, and I'm collecting all the mail I'm getting. I'm going to do a report on it after we're done. It is amazing to me. There is a guy who sends me a card like every week. It's gone on now for about 2 months. And I look at his production. He's not doing that much business, but he's spending money on the mailers. And so that's what we don't want to do. It's a business. We want to have return for investment. Thanks, Norris. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, Larry Smith Group. What else you got going?
Oh, I would like to know those that are doing the business, if they could just put in the comments there what kind of marketing they're doing, how they're getting the business.
Great question.
That would be really good to know. So that would be cool. Kind of hear what the group says about how they're marketing, or how they're getting business. Maybe they're not marketing. Maybe they're just doing social events, stuff like that.
But when we put in there, Carrie says she sent for all the leads. My first list is coming this month. Great.
Okay.
I put my answer in. I use social media a lot. I do a lot of video, and I particularly am reaching out to attorneys, calling them on the phone, offering to do videos for them. I do marketing plans for them. But I've established that now. I started going to court every day. And when COVID hit, I had to stop that and pivoted to social media. John Herman, postcards, phone calls, and videos. So John Herman, where do you, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of detail, where do you, Nordis, I'm sponsoring events where I know that probate attorneys will be there. Keep track of ones I've met. It's up a touch plan, consistent, earn their mind share. Good job, Nordis. What kind of sponsoring event, what kind of events do you sponsor?
So any luncheon that I know that they're going to be getting credits, continuing education credits, I'll sponsor that.
Nice. Are you a member of the bar, like an affiliate member of the bar?
Yes.
In where? In Florida, South Florida, Miami?
Miami.
Which one in particular?
Well, that's the Miami-Dade County Probate and Guardianship Committee.
There you go. So that's what she said. And the reason I asked her was different areas have multiple bars, right? There's probably one in Dade County, there's probably one in Miami, there's probably one in Broward. And then within those bar associations, there's divisions or chapters that are focused on content, trust and guardians, or trust and probate. And so some of those divisions are more active, you want to go to because they're more specifically what you want. So good job, Norris. And those events, they're live events? Are they at lunches or dinners or drinks? What kind of events are they?
Lunches, mostly lunches.
And where are they held at typically?
At the courthouse.
At the courthouse. So in LA, they used to do that in the courthouse. They would have continuing ed, brown bag. People bring in their own lunch. Now, I often thought if I was going to sponsor it, there were already 3 people in mind who sponsored it, so I didn't want to be another sponsor in my case. But
well, we are the only sponsor for that luncheon unless we choose to partner with someone else to share the expense. But then it's not someone that's doing what I'm doing, and we don't get the ones that get to speak.
There you go. So in my county, which is more established, bigger maybe, for whatever reason, there's 3 realtors who already sponsor those events. So for me to be one of 4, I just doesn't really. I don't want to look like those other clowns. But I often thought if I sponsored lunch and it was a brown bag, I would just sell, buy 10 or $20 lunches and sell them right there, or give them away right there. or sell them for a charity. You know, attorneys are big on different legal aid charities. And so maybe sell them for $10 and put the money to charity or something like that. So
So for
just,
every
you know,
city, you can just Google and see where those continuing education classes are at.
I would say city and county and state and national. I'm a member of the American Bar Association as an affiliate, as well as California Bar Association, as well as LA County. And LA, we have Santa Monica, Century City, Beverly Hills. So yeah, it depends on where your business is. And I also would say, that was Archie who asked that. You also can ask an attorney you work with what bar they belong to, which chapters, if you're interested. Since you haven't noticed, well, I have you there, just real quick, if you don't mind, do you participate in any other way as a member of the bar? So for example, do you get any newsletter or any emails as a result, any inside information by being a member of the bar that non-members might not get?
I don't get any, well, let me rephrase that. I do get part of an email list through the county where there's always attorneys asking questions back and forth specific to probate, right? So I get a lot of knowledge that because of that, and it's more legal stuff, but it feels good to be able to speak that lingo once I'm in front of them to build that relationship. And
Hold on a second, before you go on, let's talk about that one. So is that because you're a member of the Bar Association affiliate, or is that just that you sign up and participate through the court?
Because I signed up and I'm participating as a friend of that committee.
Me too. I have to tell you guys that I'm in the LA County one, and I learned so much from the back and forth of the attorneys on legal questions. I'm not an attorney, but I learn what's going on. I see the things they need. Oftentimes they'll even ask for referrals. That's great. So what else? You're gonna say something else you get?
And then I'm not sure if how it is set up in other cities, but they have things called councils here, like estate planning councils. There's a lot of attorneys that go to that as well, and conventions. So there are conventions that are specifically catered to probate attorneys. It is also organized by the Florida or by the State Bar Association. So that's also a great place to find those connections.
There you go. So she gave you a couple others, which is not Bar Association, but professional organizations, and specifically there's a state planning council is a common one with chapters around the country. And then there's, of course, if you're in Miami, there's more conventions than in other places, but there's different state meetings in all states. So Nordis, thanks for sharing all that. And for for your Florida referrals, Nordis, Forcad Martin in Miami. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, who else has marketing we can talk about? Let's see, postcards, phone cards. John, are you John Herman? You put in postcards, phone calls, and videos. You want to chat a little bit about that? Can you share kind of what you're doing? Are you new to it, or is it something you've been working on for a while?
I've been working on that for, let's say, about 3 months. And what I did is I created about 5 or 6 different postcards that are sent out to lists that I receive. And I also call everybody on the list. I also have a network of people that I talk to, like property managers. And property managers are helpful because they got a little questions that come up here and there. And my most recent deal came from somebody that wanted to do a garage sale at a property. And then the property manager started asking questions, and so be it. They were just about to go into probate, and I ended up picking up the property.
Nice. So a couple things there you said, which were you make phone calls to all of them. And I always tell people, if you're going to mail, you better phone call the people you mail to. It just doesn't make any sense mathematically, I don't think. And then you also mentioned that you network as well. And I think that's the last piece of all of this. So many agents want to just buy a database and overlook the people they already know. How did you come to know the property management people, John, or how did you start with that?
Well, they actually happen to be my neighbors. So
how about that? How about that?
Yep.
And I think, again, I think that's a message for all of us. We all have neighbors, family, friends. And I've had people like you tell me, oh, my friend's wife worked for an estate planning law firm. And they didn't find that out until they talked about, and that's why you have to tell everybody you know that you're doing probate real estate, because then your friend's wife or spouse or whatever, cousin, is going to raise their hand and say, hey, that's interesting. I do the same thing, or I'm involved in another way. Right. So good for you. Congratulations.
Yep, and I have a little Mike Ferry background as well, the same as you. So that actually helps with the phone calls a lot. And then what I do with the videos is I usually do a monthly video update, and at the end I do a probate tip that's about a minute long.
Nice. So you want to promote your YouTube channel here so people can see it?
I think Property Up would be a good place to start there.
Okay, let's see real quick. I can find it. John Herman. You're one of those people like me with a common name that you have to compete with, right? So I have 2 billionaire Bill Grosses who live within an hour of where I live. How's that one? There we go.
My name's John Herman.
There we go. Well, John, when you look like that, man, you got to face your video. You should. And Property Up, is that your channel?
Yes, yeah, that's my company as well.
That's your company. Okay, great. And where do you sell real estate?
Illinois.
Very nice. Okay, very nice. So there you go. Property Up, John Herman, and does a monthly video. And I want to take a look at that. You got 8 videos on probate. Very nice. Thanks for sharing all that.
No problem.
Okay, what else do we have here? Who else wants to share a little bit what they're doing marketing wise, build their business, what's working for them? I'll tell you, one of my best probate attorneys, I had sold a house to 25 years ago before he knew he did probate. He was, in fact, before he did probate, he was an attorney, but he didn't do probate until about 2 years ago. And he saw me and he needed some help and he had some questions. And next thing you know, I'm helping him. And I mean, really, I've closed probably 2 or 3 deals last year for him. And I have closed already 1 or 2, and I got 2 or 3 pending. I mean, really, it's really become a nice source of business for me. Just a good friend who actually I kind of lost touch with to some regards, but kept in touch via email. And then one day he raised his hand and said, hey, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm not just a attorney, but I do probate. And he had a couple questions, and there you go. So we definitely want to reach it. The number one thing for anybody is tell everybody that you know, like, and trust, and that knows, likes, and trusts you. Tell them what you're doing. Because if you keep it a secret, you're missing out on the leverage of what you're doing. You know, especially email is so inexpensive. Social media is so powerful now. If you don't use those tools to leverage your time, you're by definition going to have to work a lot harder. Okay, Dave Pennell, what do you got going on, man? What are you working on these days?
Oh man, I didn't want to say anything. But
Why?
no, I'm just kidding.
You boycotting me?
I actually stayed home from vacation to work on my probate stuff. My wife and 2 boys are in Florida right now in Rosemary with her family.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm revamping. I could show you if you guys want to see a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Share the screen. Let me get my video on. Oh, my camera's not working. I got a new camera and I always have to unplug it to get it to work. Let's see here. I'll start. This is just what I'm working on. So let's see here. This is an Excel sheet. Y'all see that?
Yep.
I have no results from this yet, but it's I've got enough content that like you're saying, Bill, I'm revamping my whole YouTube channel to be probate keyworded up. That when I get someone in my funnel from an ad that I'm gonna run on Google in about 2-3 weeks, and the new letters we're gonna send out with the QR codes, I'm gonna try to get them into a funnel for a home value link. But hopefully that'll put them in early in the process with some probate tips and the letters to get a home valuation. Then I could stay in touch with them. And this is the plan here. So I went on that state exec website and I pretty much rewrote all the pages. So there's 87 different blogs now on my website. That's what this is. I'm not done with this column yet. So I'm going to go and make a 1-minute short video for every topic. And then I'm going to take your advice and go interview the attorneys and the accountants, everybody that has any kind of say so with that. that's going to go out every 7 days to them once they get into my funnel. If I can't reach them by phone, or if I have reached them by phone, I'm going to put them into my funnel so I could convert more people over time and convert more of the old ones too. There's a lot of gold in the old probate, a lot. Just because they didn't, a lot of the ones that were spouses or same address, they're going to be a lot longer. And then the ones that didn't know they received inheritance, they're going to be on the tail end too of probate. So I want to capture those people too. But that's going to be every week. I'm going to send them some kind of probate short video and then a longer video where they could go to it. But in between that stuff, I'm going to send them my testimonial videos, and you can see, well, you can see what I'm doing on my YouTube. Bill knows the back end of YouTube. But let's see here. I'm revamping all my videos to have keywords of some sort of probate in them now. So I'm not done with those. See, I have 192 videos that I'm going through. There's a lot.
Wow.
So all these videos, and I got 4 of them done with the attorney, Sal, in my title office, but I want to expand that out now. So I'm just doing the keywords in that, and I'm going to put those into the funnel of these the emails that go out, the text messaging. Texting is going to be every 60 days or every 90 days. I'm not going to have a lot of text messaging, but I'm going to have, if they're in my system and they ask for a home valuation, or any seller really, I have these iMessages that will pop up on the screen if they want to play it, or they'll just disappear within 2 seconds. So it's just an impression when they go check out the market report on my website. It's not something that will play or autoplay. It's just something that will pop up. If they want to watch the video, they have 1 or 2 seconds to hit the play button, and it goes away. But it'll be all these.
Roger asks,
go
can you
ahead.
share a 1-minute video? Can you share with us what one of your 1-minute videos looks like?
Me or for
I
John?
assume he's asking you.
It's just a short video. So if you have a topic, I would say if you have any kind of probate topic, I would make a quick video. And 1 minute's really short, people. It's you can memorize the paragraph and just state it on a YouTube video, and then post it with some key terms with your area, with probate attorneys, and the advice. You'd be amazed on who would call you in 12 months from that one video. But if you have, I'm going to have 87 of those. I'm going to have 87 shorts and then 87 long interviews that I plan to do. And once they click on those videos, it's going to have a home link. They could go get a valuation for a home they inherited or their home. Doesn't matter. That's old technology for a CMA magnet, but I think it'll work on the probate stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm going to send my letters with the QR code to go to that link directly from stories that we're sending them in letters. So that's what I'm working on. Hopefully it works.
Well, my only concern in sharing that is I think that sometimes agents see what you're doing, and it is amazing and impressive and can be overwhelming. And what I want to say is, don't let it bother you. I mean, this is just what he does. Take the best parts that you can and start on it. And the way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Don't let it get in the way of you being successful. So thanks for sharing that. I mean, I look at that, and quite frankly, I do a lot, and I look at that, and my first reaction is, wow, it's overwhelming. And so I simplified it, and you can see how much content he's putting out there. I just send everybody something every week, and then other people some additional things in between. And that's kind of how I get the volume out. Dave has a very targeted approach, but he also has different skill sets than I have. So I have to play with what I do well and not worry about what he does well.
That's right. And one day at a time. And I mean, it definitely, I put it off. I go through phases of 2-3 months not doing anything, and then I get all motivated. I could be Rosemary Beach right now, but I decided to stay home and work on this because the kids are in here. As I was saying earlier, Bill, is those kids, a lot of work, but I like the solitude of 10 days by myself.
Yeah, both of that. It's fun to be with them. It's kind of like being married, kind of fun to be with them and fun to be without them. So,
Yeah.
David,
I
do you David, do you just focus on Fort Worth?
For probate, it's 5 counties. So we have 5 or 6 counties in the area. So I'm using all those key terms. I've removed realtor, believe it or not, from a lot of my key terms. I've just put probate attorney, probate law, and I'm really going to go deep on the niche on my YouTube channel. I didn't do that before, and I think that's what I'm revamping to. We'll see what happens. But this is mainly so that when someone clicks on one video and they subscribe, maybe they get into my world and they see multiple videos of me successfully helping people in real estate in the probate space. It seems like a missing key that I haven't had.
Hey, David, are you using estate exec software? Is that where your source is for your tips? Is that
Yeah, completely.
Okay, I haven't really dived deep into it.
And if you communicate with that CEO guy, his name is Dan.
Yeah.
He'll build you
Nice
a
guy.
landing page for your area on there for free, basically. If you do some of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm promoting his link on everywhere now. I may lose some business. I'm not gonna I'll reimburse someone, I think, for the service, but I don't want to be out there say, hey, I want to pay for your probate. But I definitely want to be in that world of somebody that wants to
Right.
use that site, but I'm gonna use all his content too. And then I'm gonna make videos about it. And then do a little bit of what Bill Gross is doing, is interview the attorneys. And hopefully I could organically start ranking more better with
David, you mentioned somebody in a CRM product. What's the CRM product and who's the contact person again?
For Sierra.
Yes.
Oh, I use Sierra for CRM, which is it's my number one tool.
Actually, I think he's talking about the estate exec software. They're referring back to Dan.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
meant that. Yes. So that's the estate exec software. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. So the estate exec software is a product that Chad's interviewed the owner on. It's in our in the coaching program. It's in the earn program, the second paid or third program, and it's a software that's really kind of designed for executives of estates or to give to attorneys to get them to give to their clients and then create a relationship with you. And so you're saying you've taken your version of that and put the content in that so the clients see your content, right?
Yeah. So I rewrote every single one of his contents in Texas. I hired someone to rewrite the content a year ago. And now I'm going to go through and just videotape myself doing maybe a 2-3 minute video on it, a short video, and then interview local attorneys, try to build relationships through interviewing the attorneys and get them on, especially the ones that are using video in the area. I think that's going to be easy to get them to do a interview. But I was going to log out.
But it might be easier or more effective. Just be careful. When the realtors say something is easy, I always try to caution them. There's nothing that's easy. Grant Cardone says, even your product is by far the best in the market and it's free, it's 10 times harder to sell than you would imagine. So just don't be discouraged. That's just the process. That's the hurdle your competition has as well. So
this is what it's doing for me, and it'll do the same thing for anybody. These are the blog pages that I pretty much copied and rewrote with his permission. But then I put my own stuff in it. So use Essentials of Probate Dallas Fort Worth. But then I put a video on my website. I haven't got any results from this yet, but I'm sure it's going to work. This is somebody sold their house. I did a video testimony at closing. From the time they sign, time the lady goes makes copies, I make them do a video testimony, and then I have a form here, people to fill out another testimonial. But on the tips here for content for probate for that one page, this is what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna pretty much ask an attorney these questions in an interview format. and then make a short video that gets them in my world. But as you can tell, it's already working on Google where I'm dominating Fort Worth, Dallas key terms. I have one of the top videos, another top page, I'm logged. Well, let me log out of Google. And then it really shows me. Oh, let me log out. When I log out, I have all the top pages. Pretty much, I'll dominate this in about 6 months. I'll be
Wow.
the only realtor in this area because
Wow.
I have 150 pages now of content for probate. I got to make a video for all that stuff. So it's a little intensive, but if you just do one at a time, you'll build it up. So hopefully in 6 months, Bill, and this is the most popular one because we do affidavit airships in Texas. I've not even promoted this video with Sal, and this page gets about 50 visits a week.
Wow.
But no registrations yet. So I got to tweak it a little bit to figure out how to get someone to register.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's always the problem. I want them to register for this form.
Nice.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing, guys.
Nice. So keep busy. So,
Yeah.
Nordis, as you said, it's something he's working on and he's getting leads, but he's not yet getting registrations. And so that's just the funnel processes. And I've had the same experience. I've created a huge top of the funnel, and then you have to work and figure out how to get those people through to generate more and more business. And at some point you keep working at that and tweaking it to get more and more.
Yeah.
Dave, thanks for sharing all that with it. I don't know, you disappeared there somehow. I didn't take you off, but thanks for sharing all that.
I did. I just,
Okay.
But that's, yeah, it's, I could share a document too that I wrote out, reverse engineering a website. So if you're considering having a website within a niche like probate, I've taken my city's real estate site and let's see here. Maybe I've pretty much made it a tax website and a probate site because I know that's where I get my highest margin deals from.
Nice.
So moving forward, that's all the business I pretty much want. So I've really tailored over the last year my website to be just for probate and tax sales and reverse mortgages.
Wow. Very nice.
And
Nice.
distressed property.
Well, thanks for sharing all that. I appreciate that, David. As always, appreciate your friendship and sharing and all the content you put out there. So Lynette says, can you change the form to say, can we help you make it a calendar link except a Zoom call? Yeah, I like Calendly a lot, and I try to encourage people to just go right to that. I just feel like, and then in the Calendly link, you can get their name and phone number and email, and usually ask a question or two. But they feel if they're setting up to talk to you, they're more likely to give you some information. So, Lynette, good point. Lynette, Action Jackson.
Yeah, Lynette, good idea, because that's what I'm doing. I'm some reason when I made videos before, I just didn't have the call to action. I'm putting it in every video now.
Are you
So
putting it at the beginning or the end?
Both.
I was going to say, put it in multiple spots and just say, hey, I'm here to help you. And another thing you can do too, because I'm getting ready to start that here in the Phoenix area, you can actually say, hey, I have a network of agents all around the country. So if you're not based here in Dallas, still reach out to me. I'd love to make an introduction for you,
Okay.
And then that way you get referral business out of it too.
Okay.
Question, who here
Nice.
has a network all around the country? Answer, you all do. If you're on this
Yeah.
call, you all do. I do. Now I'm working that network a little harder than you are, or maybe I'm working a little more effectively or successfully, or started on that sooner than you did. But that's why we do this, is we are all a network. If I had a lead right now, and I've had leads where people passed in California and own property, and year to date, I've closed a deal in Michigan, Virginia, and Maryland. Right. And
That's
I
cool.
had one in Nevada, we get it. I got paid on those 3 deals. More importantly, my team members, my friends got paid on those deals. More important than that, the customers and the attorneys got service. So we're all part of a national network. That's why we do this, is to build that national network. And rather than just rely on our company or rely on our brand or rely on our Mike Ferry group, whatever. Hopefully we're all probate experts and able to create value for each other in this space.
Debbie had a question, Bill, about reverse mortgages. I just want the key term because most people in foreclosure or probate have to deal with it. But it is known in our area. You pretty much already sold the house. If you're an older person and you've pretty much sold the house to the bank already, they're just going to take it back after the death. Unfortunately, in most cases, they've taken all the equity out of the property. But it's just another key term that will get you leads for home valuations that you may not be able to buy or sell their house, but at least it's somebody else that's in that same world that could be entertained and share your information.
I get it. That makes sense.
So it's the same thing with probate, code enforcement, burn houses, tax. So probate's just my number one dominant because the margins are so high for me to buy the houses that then it trickles down.
Very nice. Other questions, comments? You got an expert here in the middle of doing some pretty deep work, so we don't always get David on the call. If you have some questions, jump in.
Yeah, you're welcome. I wrote a thing I was going to look up for you. It's just reverse engineering a website. And the mistake, it's like 21 pages I could share with everybody, Bill, if you want to send it out.
Yeah.
It's just all the mistakes I made with buying a website.
Well, let's not send it out. I'll just post it on either here in the chat or I'll put it in the Facebook group. And that way people who are encouraged to kind of participate will benefit from it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something I'm continually writing because it's in my course that I have too. But I want to just understand that I spent a lot of money on a website in the beginning, and then it doesn't really matter because you have to build out everything. And when someone sells you a website, you have to make sure that you're thinking about who's going to use that website. And if you don't have anybody using the website, that's what SEO is. And if you don't have anybody use it, there's no purpose of having it. So if you pay someone $100 a month for a website hosting fee and you think you're going to generate business from it, you also have to spend $500 to $1,000 to have somebody use the website after you build it. So we have in probate, we have calls, which I think you should start with because you understand the conversation, even though if you don't continue it, because there's a lot of sales ability you have learned for calls. Then the letters are the easiest thing to send out and have an inbound call come back in. You just copy someone else's work. But once you get past clients and you build out a funnel like I'm doing, you're going to track people that are way like what they call pre-probate. You're going to come up with every idea you can for people that need probate before they need probate. So when I say I have 150 pages, 75 of those pages are for pre-stuff, like the 55 plus crowd, the older couples, the baby boomers, everything you can think of that goes into people using a website that may or may not need you in probate. I think the 55 communities and the age group is key to what we're trying to do in probate or pre-probate, because those people are going to be the ones that are calling you to sell their parents' home. So if you could generate buyer leads in the 55 plus group over the next 10 years, you're also going to see an increase on your organic probate leads. Intense.
Yeah.
Super intense.
I mean, again, it gets down to not just looking for leads this week or next week, but you talk to people who are going to be with you a year, 2 years, 3 years, 7 years down the road. And that's if you can build a system and last that long, that's where you have a business rather than just a transaction. Great.
Yeah, and if you can make it work for your local area and rank it, man, that's something you could sell to anybody for a couple $1 million once it's built out.
Well, I'm not sure I have quite that ambition, but that's exciting to watch you do it, I think.
I'll sell it to you, Bill.
Yeah, I don't think so. First off, I'm not moving to Dallas Fort Worth. But number one,
You could convert the deals here and then, or where you're at, and then, you know,
Maybe I don't have a
Just kidding.
Texas license, but maybe that's a way to do it. I have a lot of friends in Texas, but it's not for me. I'm definitely more of a city boy right now. It's too bad. I grew up in a semi-rural suburban area in with farms on the border of our property, but
Yep.
definitely I'm citified now, so I couldn't last in Texas. I don't think the heat, the bugs. Too weak.
Debbie had that other comment about the 55 bill, and yeah, it's I think it's a great age group too. They don't question your commissions typically. They honor service. They like customer service. They like things done for them. Oh, it's so I've had nothing but enjoyment working for the 55 plus people, and you'll just see a complete difference in working with, I guess it's the Generation X or Y or whatever, people that have no appreciation for the experience other than Google. So
Well, it got a lot easier with COVID because everybody has a path to electronic signature now. They either can do it themselves.
Yep.
I have clients who are 60 and 70 who can do it on their own, or they've done enough times they have a grandkid or kid who helps them do it. And so the days of I can't do things electronic are over in my experience. And that's been a real big efficiency
Good point.
boom for me. So I definitely have benefited from all that. And then 55.
and now most realtors MLSs have that that criteria in MLS where you can identify all your neighborhoods in your local market for 55 plus communities. So you could go and have someone write and go film a video of those neighborhoods, and then you'll generate all kinds of just data and leads from that stuff that we're working on.
It's interesting how you say that, because I always encourage people, find your niche and then do video research and share that. And I think so often people think, well, I have to know everything. No. If I moved to Dallas Fort Worth, which I never would do, if I did, I would never root for the Cowboys. So I moved to Dallas Fort Worth, and I probably would move in a 55 and older community just because it makes sense for me at this stage of my life and my wife's life. And my mother lived in one. I really enjoyed the facilities and kind of how that worked. And so I kind of know what I'm looking for. But if I also wanted to practice real estate, I would, make a list of all of them and go to each one and do a little video of each one. And within a month, I would have visited 10 or 20 or 30 of them and have video content on 10 or 20, 30 of them. And there's nobody else. I can't speak to Dallas Fort Worth. In my neighborhood, there's nobody who's done that. They talk about being an expert, but they don't really do the work. And I think the opportunity is in front of everybody today to just do a short video about the product you're selling. If it's a particular condo project or a particular set of properties like 55 and over, I think that's a fantastic idea, David, that you're just waiting for somebody to really take advantage of. Yep. I know in huge projects like there's that one in Florida, the Villages, they talk about the whole thing, but the reality is the Villages in Florida is a lot of small sub neighborhoods that they don't take the time to really create the content on each individual neighborhood. There's a world of difference between the Villages high-rise condos, the Villages mid-rise, the Villages townhomes, the Villages single-family homes. I'm sure the same is true in DFW.
And you're not going to have your I hate to say it, I'm getting old, but you're not going to have your 20-something realtor, 30-something-year-old realtor do that. So the content, if you're 45 and older, that's I'm 45 now, but if you're Bill's age, ancient, just kidding. I love you, man. Love your coffee cup, by the way.
Thank you.
And we make these videos of they don't have to be super professional. I am hiring a guy to make some super professional videos, but in between my little iPhone videos, it just brings the authenticity to the video, and then having Cody help me make a professional one every once in a while.
I watched a couple of different people who are very into, edited, and I do want to improve my background a little bit. I do want to work on the lighting still. I do want to, but I like it being me, not a production. I'm not a YouTube influencer. And I tell you, I've gotten great results in my YouTube. It's really driven my business. It's created some incredible opportunities. And so I just think that the information is more important than the packaging of it. It's like, in some cultures, they make a big production over the wrapping of a gift. And that's nice, but you tear up the wrapper and you throw it away commonly. The gift is what stays on. And I think in business, it's not the relationship, it's the content that gets people's attention initially. So that's what I would say. Just get your phone out and take a picture of a video of the content. And you could be 25 and focus on senior houses. You had the energy to drive around all of them in a day, maybe. Okay, so Dave Pennell's YouTube channel, I'll put it in the chat box actually, but he's at David Pennell is his handle on his YouTube channel. YouTube, it's interesting how it works, but you can put youtube.com/ and then at their social media handles. So I'm at Bill Gross Probate. He's at David Pennell, but I put the link in the chat box. Okay, guys, I think we're about to wrap up here. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah.
He's at 413 subscribers. Get him up there. If everybody here on the thing subscribed, we'd make a nice impact on him. So feel free to do that and show him some love. Show him some YouTube love.
Yeah, and those video testimonials of your clients when if you go to closing, most people we do, from the moment they finish signing to when they go get copies is when I usually just pop my camera open with my, I don't bring any, I just bring my headphones and my iPhone. And I usually use the coffee cup in the table that they have with the pins in it and set my phone on top of it as a tripod. And then I just say, hey, can you just talk about a few things that we did? I talk about the mistakes in the beginning and then I edit that out if there's any mistakes. And then they go off and name 2, 3, 4 things that were good with working with me. And then if they could say your key terms that you're going to publish on Google, even better. So if you're going after probate business or 55 plus or new home buyers, have them state that a couple times in the video. What was it like being in probate? What was it like being a new home buyer? What was it like, you know? And then they'll say, hey, repeat that. And they will.
Nice. Well, okay, so I think it's a good time to kind of wrap up. I see Lynette's going, so that's a good sign. I put in the chat box my YouTube channel as well. I'd love to have you. Love to have you go there if you're so inclined. And then I'll put in the chat box again the basis of all this group in this call today is Probate Mastery, Chad Corbett's coaching program. We get together here every week as for alumni of that group or people who specifically sign up to be coached. So
can I mention mine, Bill?
Go ahead, Dave.
Pivot Agent.
Pivotagent.com.
Yeah, with pivot dash agent, just for any kind of distressed lead types that we're going after. So I'm just giving people every access to all my backstage stuff.
Great. So again, just to kind of wrap up, ProbateMastery.com is Chad's coaching program that drives all this. And then the Facebook group is Estate Professionals Mastermind. Go there, participate, post your probate related content. And then I host ProbateWeekly.com every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific. It's an interview format. Love to have you guys come on and participate in that. And then I have a Facebook group associated with that, Probate Weekly. And post your probate content, get some Facebook love, get some YouTube love by going on there. But make it only probate related content on my group at least. And I appreciate that. So to John Herman, thanks for being on earlier today. And Dave Pennell, thank you for going a deep dive. And David, if you send me that article you talked about on the website, I'll post that in the Facebook group and make sure people can go there and get that information after the call. And then I don't remember your name, but the representative from the Larry Smith group, thank you for being on as well. It's always good to, well, it's kind of good. Well, whatever, you were on the call, so we'll just leave it at that. But thanks, everybody. We do this every Tuesday at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks for your participation. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Thanks so much.